fuck just happened? Like, what did I get hit with? And couldn't regroup, and I don't know, man. Just, shit doesn't go your way, and you just have to bounce back, you know, like.
Tszyu's dreams were shattered as Bakhram Murtazaliev delivered a brutal knockout, leaving Tszyu devastated in a moment that stunned the boxing world. The boxing world was left in shock as Tszyu faced a crushing defeat at the hands of Bakhram Murtazaliev. Going into the fight, Tszyu was brimming with confidence, riding the momentum from his previous victories. But that night, things took a sharp and unexpected turn. His body language after the knockout painted a picture of disbelief, and when Tszyu spoke post-fight, it was clear the defeat weighed heavily on him. Tszyu noted right after the fight, "I was positive after the Fandora, but I got to find more answers with this one. Like, this didn't go according to script. It was a little bit different. I felt unbelievable. I'll be honest with you. Felt unbelievable. I had a great prep, so he got me, man, and it was a better man on the slot, and we love." In those few words, Tszyu expressed the pain of a fighter who had come prepared, but met an opponent who had the edge that night. Despite the loss, Tszyu showed humility in recognizing Murtazaliev's superiority, leaving fans to feel the raw emotion of a fighter coming to terms with the harsh reality of a brutal sport. Before stepping into the ring, Tszyu was radiating confidence. He believed Bakhram Murtazaliev wasn't prepared for what he was about to face. In fact, Tszyu even called out Murtazaliev's approach.
I think he was running a bit today. Again, I don't think he's the smartest chap on the block, so I think I'm gonna make him pay.
That brutal KO shattered all of Tszyu's pre-fight confidence. He now stands in the aftermath, searching for answers to how it all went wrong. The night belonged to Murtazaliev, and Tszyu, while humbled, acknowledged that the better man won. The harsh sting of defeat was evident as Tszyu's bold predictions crumbled under the weight of that crushing blow. Leading up to the fight, Tszyu exuded confidence when asked if he could stop Bakhram Murtazaliev. Tszyu believed he had the tools to control the fight, and even predicted that Murtazaliev would come in aggressively, looking for an early knockout. He didn't shy away from the pressure, showing his faith in his own power and ability to handle whatever came his way. Tszyu stated confidently before the fight, "I think he's going to come in, try to knock me out, try to rattle me a little bit, but as they say, don't blink in this sport, and this is one of those fights that you can't blink." But the night played out far from how Tszyu imagined. While he warned not to blink, it was Tszyu who ended up on the receiving end of a stunning knockout. Murtazaliev's precision and power silenced any hopes Tszyu had of taking control, and instead, it was Tszyu who couldn't recover from the devastating blow. His words before the fight now feel like an eerie reminder of just how unpredictable boxing can be. As the dust settled after Tszyu's shocking defeat, the emotions in the ring were palpable. After being dropped 4 times by Bakhram Murtazaliev, Tszyu's devastation was clear. In a powerful and heartfelt moment, his father, legendary boxer Tszyu, immediately stepped in to comfort his son. The once dominant champion now stood vulnerable, leaning on the very man who had taught him so much about the sport and its unforgiving nature. In the aftermath of Tszyu's devastating knockout loss to Bakhram Murtazaliev, concerns quickly turned to his physical and mental well-being. Tszyu took heavy punishment, being dropped multiple times, and the focus shifted from the fight to his recovery. Tim's manager, Matt Rose, provided an update on his condition, reassuring fans that Tszyu was on the mend, but still had a road ahead for full recovery. Matt Rose updated, "The mental process of going back to what happened last night physically. He's a lot better today. He obviously had a concussion last night, but he went to hospital we wanted him to go for precautionary reasons. He is okay from that point of view. So he'll rest up for a couple of days now. Once he gets back to Australia, we'll do some more testing to make sure he's okay. Physically, once he comes through that, everyone will be happy. One of the most important things when you're in fights like that is to ensure you do the right checkups." The update highlighted the seriousness of the damage Tszyu endured, including a concussion that required a hospital visit. While physically recovering, the real concern now lies in his mental recovery and ensuring no long-term effects from the brutal loss. With more tests and rest lined up, Tszyu's team remains cautious, ensuring that he's not only physically healed, but also mentally prepared for the challenges ahead. Matt Rose further emphasized the cautious approach taken after Tszyu's knockout loss. While Tszyu was showing signs of physical improvement, his team wanted to ensure every precaution was taken to avoid any lingering issues. Even though the initial hospital checkup showed positive signs, they opted for additional recovery time to guarantee Tszyu's well-being.
Yeah, we waited a couple. We just did it anyway. Doctor said he'd be fine, but just to make sure he was okay, we took that extra couple of days.
This decision reflects the serious nature of the sport, where one brutal night in the ring can have lasting consequences. The extra precaution underlines their commitment to Tszyu's long-term health, knowing that bouncing back too quickly could lead to further risks. Tszyu's road to recovery will take time, and his team isn't rushing the process. While Tszyu's recovery remains a priority, many wondered how his father, boxing legend Tszyu, reacted to the loss. As a former champion himself, Kostya's presence during such a tough moment for his son was undeniable. However, Matt Rose shared that Tszyu chose not to offer any deep analysis or criticism post-fight, instead focusing purely on being there for his son. Matt also noted, "No, Tszyu didn't mention nothing that I'm aware of. Again, I wasn't privy to any of that. From my understanding, Tszyu was here as his dad to support him, and that's where I thought it was anyway." Tszyu, despite his legendary status in the sport, stepped back from offering any tactical breakdowns or critiques. His role that night wasn't as a boxing expert, but as a father providing emotional support during a tough moment for Tim. It was a reminder that sometimes, even for fighters, family comes first over the sport. As the boxing community processed Tszyu's shocking stoppage by Bakhram Murtazaliev, former champion Shawn Porter weighed in with his thoughts. He acknowledged the disappointment surrounding Tszyu's performance, but also recognized that the fighter wasn't at his best that night. Porter, with his wealth of experience, noted several factors that may have contributed to the outcome of the fight, emphasizing the need for Tszyu to regroup. Shawn Porter stated in an interview right after the fight, "You know, this was not the best Tim that we could have got. I felt like there were some things that they weren't prepared for, and I think that's what ultimately led to this fight ending so soon." Porter pointed out that Tszyu's lack of preparation played a crucial role in the early end to the fight. This insight not only highlights the physical aspects of the sport, but also sheds light on the mental preparation needed to face a skilled opponent like Murtazaliev. It raises questions about Tszyu's training camp and what adjustments could have been made to ensure he was fully ready for the challenge. He also stated, "I want to see him again. I know a lot of people, especially the Australian public, they're thinking that 2 losses in the States mean he ain't coming back. I don't agree with that. I think he'll be back, and I hope to see him back. Time to rest a little bit though. He's been putting in a lot of work in the last 2 years, so some time for some rest." Porter expressed optimism about Tszyu's future, dismissing the notion that 2 consecutive losses would mark the end of his career. His belief in Tszyu's potential to bounce back is a reminder of the resilience often seen in fighters. The call for rest underscores the physical and mental toll that such a demanding schedule can take, and Porter's words serve as encouragement for Tszyu to take the necessary time to recuperate and come back stronger. Shawn Porter also analyzed Tszyu's performance, emphasizing the mental and emotional hurdles that can come with stepping into the ring, especially after a tough loss. He pointed out that many fighters struggle to find their rhythm when they first begin a bout, which can hinder their overall performance. This struggle was evident in Tszyu's fight against Bakhram Murtazaliev, where he never seemed to settle into a comfortable pace. He said, "You know, that's a situation I think some fighters deal with, where they're not quite comfortable yet when that first bell rings. Usually, after that first round, they get comfortable. There was not a chance for him to get comfortable in the ring tonight, a lot in part because of some of the things that he was doing wrong." Porter's assessment highlights how Tszyu's inability to adjust and find his footing contributed to his downfall in the fight. It suggests that the pressure and intensity of the moment can affect a fighter's performance, and in Tszyu's case, he struggled to overcome those challenges against Murtazaliev's relentless style. Porter also noted, "I didn't know that he could jab and turn the way that he was doing. I mean, he came out with literally the perfect game plan, and it worked right into what they expected for Tim. The other side of that, they didn't expect Bakhram to be able to jab the way that he did, be able to turn the way that he was turning, and that really just set up everything and pitched a perfect performance for Bak." Porter praised Murtazaliev's performance, noting that he executed a game plan that completely disrupted Tszyu's strategy. The unexpected jab and movement from Murtazaliev caught Tszyu off guard, allowing him to control the fight and ultimately leading to the decisive victory. This reflection on both fighters' performances emphasizes the strategic nature of boxing and the importance of adaptability in the ring. Keith Thurman offered a candid analysis of Tszyu's performance against Bakhram Murtazaliev, focusing on the impact of Tszyu's strategy and preparation. Thurman, who has experience competing at the highest levels, dissected Tszyu's approach to the fight, emphasizing that confidence alone isn't enough to succeed against top-tier opponents. His insights stem from a week of interviews and analytical discussions leading up to the bout. He said in an interview, "Look what the left hook did, man. I was obviously confident when I signed the contract. I said there's nothing special in what Tszyu brings to the table." Thurman's assessment reflects his belief that Tszyu lacked unique qualities that would give him an edge in the fight. By referencing the left hook's impact, he underscores the effectiveness of Murtazaliev's game plan, suggesting that Tszyu didn't possess the tools necessary to counter such attacks. He also noted, "Earlier Earlier this week, when I was on the analytical side, I got to interview all the fighters. And, Bakhram clearly said that him and his trainer said there's nothing special about Tszyu, and that Tszyu is just cookie cutter, made for Bakhram. It reinforces the notion that Murtazaliev and his team were confident in their strategy against Tszyu. The term cookie cutter suggests that they viewed Tszyu as predictable and easily manageable, which ultimately contributed to his downfall in the ring. Thurman further stated, and not only were they able to say that, but they were able to prove it. I mean, I think Tszyu, in the way that I thought he was approaching my fight, was overly confident, overly, believing in himself. Thurman points out that Tszyu's overconfidence may have clouded his judgment and led him to overlook key aspects of his preparation. This mindset can be dangerous in boxing, where adaptability and strategic thinking are crucial for success, especially against formidable opponents like Murtazaliev. He also noted, it's fine to have skills, it's fine to have a will, but you have to have a strategy. You need to be able to make subtle adjustments in the ring and not just do one thing over and over and over again. Here, Thurman emphasizes the importance of strategy in boxing. He criticizes Tszyu for failing to adapt during the fight, suggesting that a rigid approach ultimately led to his defeat. This reinforces the idea that while talent and determination are essential, they must be complemented by a solid game plan. He also added, he was hurt. He was clearly hurt, and he tried to put himself right back into the fight instead of giving himself some time, strategically working behind the jab, trying to slow down the pace. There's a lot of things you could do to get into the later rounds. Thurman noted Tszyu's inability to regroup after taking damage. Instead of implementing a strategic response to regain control, Tszyu pushed forward recklessly. This not only endangered his safety but also sealed his fate in the fight, showcasing the importance of composure and tactical thinking in high-pressure situations. Continuing his analysis of Tszyu's performance, Keith Thurman addressed the implications of the knockdown Tszyu suffered during the fight against Bakhram Murtazaliev. He reflected on the scorecards and Tszyu's ability to rise after being knocked down, providing insight into the physical and mental challenges fighters face in high-stakes bouts. Thurman said, obviously the scorecards would never look good, so obviously after that 3 knockdowns, there's no way he was winning tonight without a knockout. And after the 4th knockdown, Thurman pointed out the critical situation Tszyu found himself in, acknowledging that the knockdowns had essentially eliminated any chance of a victory on the scorecards. This highlights the uphill battle Tszyu faced as the fight progressed and sets the stage for the discussion about the physical toll of the fight. Furthermore, he mentioned, but let's be real, the way he got up, the way he kept getting up, if you know boxing and you know how that left hook was hitting right on the temple and the way Tszyu went down sideways, you can almost see him shaking as he's on the ground. It's almost like we can feel the reverb from the punch as a spectator. Thurman emphasizes the severity of Tszyu's knockdowns, describing the physical effects of the punches. His use of vivid imagery conveys the brutal reality of boxing, allowing viewers to appreciate the intensity of the fight and the danger Tszyu faced in the ring. This analysis adds depth to the understanding of how knockdowns can impact a fighter's performance and resilience.
That he's consuming that type of reverb. Everything in his body is telling his body to shut down, and he stood back up. And then as the last final, right before his coaches threw in the towel, he was on Bambi legs. He couldn't stand upright, but he still had the audacity to try to come with an overhand right.
Thurman continues by highlighting Tszyu's determination to keep fighting despite the physical toll. The imagery of Bambi legs conveys Tszyu's compromised state and the risks of continuing to engage when severely hurt. This moment encapsulates the warrior spirit of fighters while simultaneously questioning Tszyu's effectiveness and decision-making at that crucial moment. As Keith Thurman analyzed Tszyu's recent performance against Bakhram Murtazaliev, he reflected on the qualities that make a fighter truly great. While praising Tszyu's resilience and warrior spirit, Thurman acknowledged that simply having determination is not always enough when competing at the highest level. He hinted at the need for fighters to possess not only heart, but also the skills and strategies to navigate tough matchups against elite opponents. Thurman also said, there just will not be, throughout history, there will not be many types of warriors like Tszyu. But I told you guys, I'm not sure if he's that scary. I'm not sure if he's that dangerous, and I think this is the year of him coming over here and trying to fight the best. Prove that, when you go from a little pool to a big pool, you're running into some big fish. Thurman's remarks highlight the challenges Tszyu faces as he continues his journey in the boxing world. While his warrior mentality is commendable, the competition he encounters will test his abilities in ways he may not have faced before. Thurman concludes by emphasizing that Tszyu must adapt and refine his skills to thrive among top-tier fighters, as the road ahead will be filled with formidable challenges that require more than just heart to overcome. Following Tszyu's disappointing loss to Bakhram Murtazaliev, Terence Crawford took to social media media to share his thoughts on Tszyu's performance. Recognizing the significant challenges Tszyu faced in the ring, Crawford offered constructive criticism aimed at helping the fighter improve in future bouts. His insights reflect the perspective of a seasoned champion who understands the intricacies of boxing at the highest level. Crawford wrote, "Tim better change up that game plan and start moving his head coming in." Crawford's advice emphasizes the importance of defensive skills and adaptability in the ring. By suggesting that Tszyu needs to alter his approach and incorporate head movement, Crawford highlights a key area for improvement that could enhance Tszyu's chances of success against high-caliber opponents. This feedback serves as a reminder that even talented fighters must continually evolve their strategies to stay competitive in a sport that demands constant growth and adaptation. In the wake of Tszyu's defeat to Bakhram Murtazaliev, Caleb Plant offered his perspective on the situation, acknowledging the emotional toll that such losses can take on fighters. Plant emphasized the importance of taking time for oneself outside of the ring. He understands that setbacks are a part of boxing, and that how a fighter responds in the aftermath is crucial for their future success.
Just, tough night in the office. It's part of boxing, and a lot of highs and lows in the sport. And, sure he'll go home, spend some time with his family, get his thoughts together, and re-up, come back.
Plant's words reflect a compassionate and realistic view of the sport, reminding Tszyu that while the defeat is disappointing, it is also an opportunity for growth and reflection. By encouraging him to prioritize his family during this time, Plant underscores the importance of balance in a boxer's life. His advice serves as a reminder that even in the face of adversity, the support of loved ones can provide the strength needed to return to the sport with renewed focus and determination. As Tszyu grapples with the reality of his devastating loss, the support from fellow fighters and his family will be pivotal in his recovery journey. With constructive criticism from champions like Terence Crawford and the empathetic encouragement from Caleb Plant, Tszyu has the tools to reflect and rebuild. The road ahead may be challenging, but the resilience he's shown throughout his career is a testament to his character. Fans eagerly await his comeback, hopeful that this setback will fuel a determined return to the ring. In boxing, as in life, it's not just about the fall, it's about how one rises from it. What are your thoughts on Tszyu's performance and his path to recovery? Do you believe he can bounce back stronger from this defeat? Share your opinions in the comments.